Hey guys, I just want to thank you immensely for taking this journey through the Sebastian Rogers case of the 15-year-old boy that disappeared from inside his own home. We don't know what happened to him, but we do not believe he willingly walked out of that house. And unfortunately, more and more information is coming available that is putting a lot of weight behind those theories. And I hope that you get something out of this live. If you do, please consider sharing it. Don't forget to like and don't forget to comment. I really do appreciate you guys taking an interest in the Sebastian Rogers case. Without further ado. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. Well, hello guys, it's nice to see you this afternoon. Hello. I am Bullhorn Betty, and we cover true crime here on Bullhorn Betty, and we are covering the case of Sebastian Rogers, which is a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, from his bed, according to his mother. It's nice to see everyone tonight. Hey! I hope your work day was wonderful. I hope you had a great day. If you guys would like, I just wanted to let you know we do have subscriptions which bring a lot of our content live to you. We don't get a whole lot of revenue generation, obviously, from these lives. So if you guys would like to participate or sponsor, please consider a subscription. And don't forget to like everything. We like Bullhorn Betty. Yay! So we are up here, right? We're just wanting to know. Thanks, Jen. It's nice to see you, love. You know, where, what, how, why, when, who, right. And then we had this a kind of a bombshell interview that finally identified an unidentified car. We have been looking for a vehicle. We know that there was something that happened the night that Sebastian disappeared. We know that based upon his mother, based upon his father, and based upon his stepdad, that it doesn't appear this boy would have walked out of his home. So this neighbor and her interview was very important in piecing some information together. Hey, Beach, it's nice to see you, my love. One of those things, hey, Deborah, it's nice to see you. So one of those things that we've been looking at was whether he walked out of his house. It's just, when the neighbor started talking, one of the things that were notable is that, one, Sebastian didn't really go out. Yes, the immediate neighbors knew of Sebastian. People further around the neighborhood, probably not. There was no identifying things like bicycles or anything outside that even indicated that a child lived in the home. And then you have the fact that none of the neighbors really saw Sebastian. He didn't leave their house much. We also learned they didn't have anybody come over. And it was very few and far between that they would have any kind of company to their home. They were very isolated. Okay? That's going to be very important at some point about how they isolate their entire family from the rest of the world. They live in their own little bubble. So, Bed Crime Stories, she is a YouTube content creator, and she does these videos, and we did have a lot of, some video footage. I won't say a lot, but we did have some video footage to work with, but we really didn't identify what we were looking at. Now that people have had an opportunity to analyze it, we have been able to kind of decipher some information. So you're going to want to stick around because we're going to be going over some new evidence that has been found, and we're going to be looking at it, and I'm going to be analyzing it with you guys because it is the vehicle. It is the mystery vehicle in the Sebastian Rogers case. I have looked at it. I have previewed it. I have made an analysis. I don't know if my analysis is accurate. However, I would like to go ahead and present this to you now. You guys are the first to hear of this, okay? We know about the car, but my analysis on the car, I did indicate what I felt it was on my YouTube channel, but now I'm going to explain to you guys why I felt that way. If you have not watched Bed Crime Stories yet, I will be going over a section of her video tomorrow on one of my lives. It'll be one of my first lives, so it most likely will be on the main Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. So here is what we've got. We had, let me get the right photo for this. This is the right photo. So I also straightened it up. This is a straightened up photo. Here is the vehicle right here. You see it? Here's the lights in the front. Here's the tail lights in the back. Okay? So right now you can see that there's almost this glow from the light that almost shines on a window. Okay? You see that? Front. This is a little bit better. This is at the angle. This is not straightened up. This is at the angle. This is exactly how it was from the camera view. But you see the halo kind of back here. The front lights right here. But again, I straightened it up so we have it vertically so we can see what we're really looking at here. And right here we have a halo almost like there's a back window. This looks like a shadow of an SUV right here. So I was actually, it's kind of funny right here. So it's kind of funny this happened. I may have to get out of the way. But I was watching Vinnie Politan, and he's going over Madeline Soto, but in the corner, he just so happens to have this sheriff blazer there, and I just couldn't happen to notice, how the curvature is, where the lights are, and how you can kind of see the halo on the back. Now, granted, it's not the angle. I needed to try to contort it, and I did, and I ain't good like that, right? So I couldn't get it moved around and overlaid. I'm not an overlay expert, okay? But I thought this was a good example of the halo on the back of the vehicle here. You see that? And it just so happened I was I took this I've been working on this live all day. And I was just happened, I needed a break, went over to Vinnie Politan. And the last piece of my puzzle came in because he shows this thing. And I'm like, where's the halo? There's the halo I need. Look at that. Right there. So I am determining in my unprofessional opinion, just a girl that's been doing this a really long time, okay? Just a really long time. This looks like an SUV. But listen, guys. We believe that Chris wouldn't help her. What if he didn't? There's two theories that can be had of this, okay? There can be two theories that can be had of this. Now, this light just spontaneously went on. So we obviously missed a whole portion of the video where this vehicle actually pulled up. Or maybe we didn't see it, but you would have seen the halo because no matter what, whenever you hit your brake lights, whether your car is got lights on or not, your brake lights will turn on. So I absolutely believe law enforcement knows exactly when this vehicle here pulled into that spot. So I am interested in this, but it's definitely, in my unprofessional opinion, but my very keen eye is telling me that this is an SUV. This is not a car. This is not a pickup truck. See, I thought maybe I mistaken it because I looked at it one time and I'm like, it's an SUV. And then I thought, you know what? Maybe I need to go back and look at the lights because, maybe I had the lights. I was thinking the lights were up too high, which I did think the lights were up. I thought the lights were up here, and they're not. They're down here. So I had to look at it and say, am I sure that it's not a pickup truck? And so I was able to kind of slow-mo through until I saw the glaze, like this halo around like a window or something. And when I saw that, that's when I said, you're not getting that glow on a pickup truck unless it had like a cab over it. Now there could be a pickup truck with like a cab over it and it might give us that, but the length of this is not, I just don't feel like the length of this, it's a larger vehicle, but I don't believe the length of this is it could be a pickup truck. I mean, it is long. But I think it might be because of this right here. I really think that this right here is indicating to me that it's an SUV, honestly. So that's kind of what I'm thinking it is. If you guys want to see it, I don't know if you guys, I think that went too far. Let me see if I can pull it back. I know you can only see the front headlights on these angles here. I didn't back it up, but you can see that one there. And you can see it a little bit better here, but I didn't straighten it up here. This is the full view as I got it. And now you can see the halo that's like the glow that's coming from those lights. And I can't tell, that could be, it could be a bed of a truck. It could be. Bed cover over the back of the truck. It could be. Yeah, Tiny. It could be. And it could be, this could be the top of the thing, because some of those have that little, like, I don't know, they used to be straight up and down, but now for style or something, or maybe aerodynamics, I don't know, the back of the beds kind of have like this little swoop on them, and that could be what we're seeing right here. This could very well be a pickup truck. It does look pretty long. Because here's the lights, so the lights have to be coming out, I would think, right about here. So, it could be a pickup. And this could be the glow of the back piece that comes down. But whenever I look at it like this, it looks more in line with when I straighten it up where I can see what it looks like this, it looks like an SUV to me. It really does. Now, what type of SUV? I have no idea. But this was the one I could see that kind of had a similar back. Obviously, they don't have infinities. I need to look at more into infinities. I didn't do that right before I came here because I was just going to go over just what we saw on the videos with bed crime stories. And I am going to be going over a section of, if I didn't say that, I think I already said that, a section of that tomorrow on one of my first lives that I do on YouTube. We're going to be going over the sections because she's got 3 different sections of the video, and it's perfect. Yeah, this is. But there's a lot of SUVs that have the same back. Like, I'm sure my Chevy Equinox kind of has that same curvature. And I'm wondering, actually, as a matter of fact, sit tight, guys. Let me go through my camera roll. If my camera roll decides to work today, apparently the stuff got moved over to my iCloud, and even though I can see it from here, it doesn't like to pull up for TikTok for some reason. And they said it was because of my my size of my file. I don't know. Let's look at this. I don't know, y'all. Thank you. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because Cathy Bowersox has a similar vehicle. I think the colors are slightly different, but they're very, very similar. And would they have the back that we need right here? Possibly. Because I don't think it was Katie's car out there. Because we would have seen it leave the garage. So we need to find a vehicle that could have went there. This right here is entirely too big for what we saw. Okay, we got both of their vehicles right here. This is his vehicle. That is entirely too big, in my opinion, to have been at that spot. That didn't look like what we were seeing on that camera. I mean, this is a very, very, very long truck, even in this photo. Look how far my fingers have to do. This one over here is about right. It's about right. And it has that little curvature on the back that we're looking for. Slightly, but not. This is about the same type of car that Cathy Bowersox would be driving. So for all of you, I'm going to have to come back and try to find this, but for all of you that are just tuning in, this is the camera. I straightened it up for you guys so you guys could kind of see it straight, because this is not, the real angle of this is like this on the camera. So I tried to straighten it up for you guys so we could see what we're looking at here. This doesn't look like this big old truck. I mean, it seems like I don't know. Could it be? I don't think it could be. I really don't think it could be. Let me go back up there. Let me find another picture of their camper. I can never remember where I find it at. I just have to keep going and going and going until I find something. God burn it. Where is it? I didn't remember coming up this high, but I guess I did. There it is. Right there. I don't know. That seems too big for me. That seems too big for me, because the light seems like if the lights on that, it seems like the front lights would be up too high. It seems like the front lights would be up too high in that video. This, I don't know. I feel like, oh, thank you, Jules. God bless you. I feel like it's going to be an SUV. Now, I don't know. We can't see it. I mean, you guys see what we can see. There's nothing to see. You see like a figure. It's very hazy. It's not good. It's not clear, but it definitely you can see some detail in it. And that is super important. Thank you guys. And again, for those that are just joining in, we're going over some new details that we've had, but we didn't know what we were looking at. And now that we're finally seeing what we need to see, we're putting some pieces of the puzzle together. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all the love and support. But we're looking for curvature. So here is the photo of the mysterious vehicle that was seen with two light sources coming toward it, and then another light source appearing to go back to the Proudfoot home. We're getting a better, clear understanding of what was going on. For this whole time, we have been looking for a vehicle. We thought there was a vehicle over the construction site. I remember saying that, I thought maybe somebody turned the lights on and turned it off, like say, hey, come on, let's go. And come to find out that is partly right and partly wrong. We had a 50, we didn't know what we were looking at. And then come to find out that car or that light source that went on and was off is literally right in front of a camera. And now you can see a silhouette of a vehicle. And here is the silhouette of the vehicle. I've straightened it up on this. Well, I'll show you the one unstraightened so you guys get a whole context of what I was looking at and why it's so difficult to figure out what it is. You got to play with these films to straighten them up to find out what you're looking at. And so we didn't know. Some people thought this was floodlights from a home. I started talking about it being possibly a vehicle. And it appears now it is a vehicle. And here it is straightened up so you guys can kind of get a good idea of what it is. Here's the headlights. Here's the brake lights. You kind of see that halo around the back end, kind of like what you see here on this police cruiser at night. Identifying that this is potentially an SUV. And so we know people in the family attributed with SUVs. And when we go to look at SUVs, we know one critical piece of information. And that critical piece of information is that Katie Proudfoot and Cathy Bowersox actually possess the same, I wouldn't say the same exact vehicle. They may be off slightly, but definitely vehicles that are similar. They both have an Infiniti, a car that looks like this. One may be older, one may be newer, one may be a different shade. But I don't think they're identical shade cars. I think they're slightly different. Many people think that they are, but this does have the curvature that I'd be looking for right here from those lights beating off the back of the vehicle that we're seeing. So this is really, I don't know if this is the vehicle. I don't want people saying that Bullhorn Betty said that Cathy Bowersox's car was seen that night, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm simply saying is we have been looking for a mysterious vehicle. The interview with Miss Bobby kind of pointed us that there was a mysterious vehicle in the neighborhood, and we started going back and of course Bed Crime Stories went through the images and prepared the video we needed to see and how we needed to see it. And then upon my analysis of her video, that's when we determined that we have a vehicle right here, and it appears to be an SUV. Okay? And it's only because of the lights reflecting off of the metal and the glass that's giving it this halo look. And it does, this is what did confirm it for me, was watching Vinnie Politan. And I pulled a screenshot. This is from Osceola County because he was talking about Madeline Soto. But this just happened to give me a good example to show you of the curvature that you would be seeing if that image was a little bit lit on the other one. So again, I'm looking for that curvature, and that curvature really does, in my opinion, mimic that of an SUV. Proudfoot's Infinity may have been at the gas station. I don't think so. They would have seen it leave. They have video evidence of that car going into the garage after the Texas Roadhouse and not leaving that house again. So this would not be that car. This right here would be a different vehicle altogether. And so we've been trying to figure out what is going on, you know, who helped who, how did this all happen? So now we have to put in, we have to add 2 additional theories here, guys, if we're monitoring this case. Usually we like taking away theories. Now we're having to add a theory. Okay, so one of the theories that I'm now adding to this is the fact that Cathy Bowersox or Terry Bowersox, or both of them, went to the Proudfoot home to help them, to help her. Or, Chris left Memphis and went to his mother's house and got her car and went and helped Katie. That is another possibility. Now, what could have happened is they could have moved Sebastian over to the construction site. He went back and either used this vehicle here or went back and picked up his pickup truck and then went to the construction site and loaded Sebastian up. That may explain why there was only scent at that area. Maybe it wasn't the fact that he was left there to be dumped in the garbage. Maybe that was just a holding spot until certain actions could be had. So, again, this is, problematic for me. This is one aspect of what is going on, guys. We do not have anything before this footage, which is really key. That what they have on the camera that was turned over to law enforcement before this is going to be majorly critical. But it does appear that this is not, to me, a pickup truck, and it's not Chris's pickup truck. So if this is legit, which I believe it is, because again, Miss Bobby, she's the neighborhood admin for their community. She's kind of the eyes and the ears, okay? And she knows who had an Uber. She knows what time the Uber came and picked that person up, and she knows where that person lives. This was not the Uber. Period. Then we have, again, Bed Crime Stories kind of put it all together in a beautiful package for us. And she put all the videos together. The light sources coming out. One light source going back to the house, in addition to this vehicle turning their lights as one of the light sources is coming to it. Okay? There was clear activity. There's no way law enforcement does not know this, okay? Law enforcement has this. Law enforcement has seen this. Law enforcement is aware of this despite what they're telling you. So they have this information. There was definitely something going on in and around the Proudfoot home the night that Sebastian disappeared. Moreover, before this happened, this right here, inside that home, there were some lighting phenomenons going on inside the Proudfoot home as well, which will be critical and it is considered circumstantial evidence, just like this. You know why they call this circumstantial evidence? It's because they're going to have to do things like overlay and stuff like that. They can see a car here. They can see the light sources coming to the car, one going back to the house, okay? You can't make out the figures, right? We don't know who they are. But this will be used in a court of law. Why? Because even though it's circumstantial evidence, it's still evidence, and it still has as much weight as direct evidence. Don't be misconstrued. Don't have these people out here saying it's just circumstantial evidence. It annoys the crap out of me, probably just like every other legal professional, when you hear that. Evidence is evidence is evidence is evidence. Period. It's evidence. And it can be used in trial. So now we have phenomenons going on outside of the home, but prior to these outside of the home phenomenons, we have phenomenons going on inside this home. What are those phenomenons? Well, for example, Sebastian was told to go to sleep at 9 p.m. The lights in his room went off around 9 p.m. We know for a fact that Katie reached out to Chris, or Chris reached out to Katie. I could have sworn Chris said she called him at 9:43 or 9:46, but somebody in my chat earlier, hey, Cake, it's nice to see you, love bug. Somebody in my chat earlier had said that it is that Chris called her, and it confused me, so I don't want to, do your own research on who called who. But it sounds like to me Katie called Chris at 9:43. Well, the lights in his room went on and off. Apparently, there were some other lights in the house that went on and off, but the room light went on and off, and it finally went off last time at 11:30. But that's not the kicker. In this video, you can see a shadow going across the house and turning off the back lights in the room. And then the next thing you know, all the lights in the house go completely dark, and there's a figure, a silhouette, in one of the front rooms being picked up on the camera across the street. It's a little creepy. So now we have phenomenons, weird phenomenons going on inside the Proudfoot home. And now later that night, we have more lighting and other crazy phenomenons going on the outside of the home, including this mysterious vehicle here. So as we're building this case, we know for a fact that it's highly unlikely that Sebastian left that house on his own accord. Something happened, and there's a reason why there were no dog hits on the outside of his home, but yet when they get to the construction site, the hit was so strong that the dog literally jolted into the retaining pond. And that was captured on audio for that officer. That it almost implies to me, now again, not an expert here, but that almost implies to me that this boy's feet never hit the ground until he was over somewhere near the construction site. Or they used the construction site to hold him, maybe in the dumpster. Maybe they put him in the dumpster so Chris could come back and get him out of the dumpster so nobody would see what was going on. And he probably just backed up his truck, reached it, we don't know. Again, I don't know. But this is kind of how this is developing for me, because this is where the stuff is kind of, we're having to piece this stuff together. And what would make sense? What would answer all these phenomenons going on, especially with the dogs and the retaining ponds, and how did they not hit over here, but they dove into the pond over here, even though they weren't following a scent? It's really not, it's hard to understand that, right? So what would cause that to happen? The only thing I can think that would cause that to happen is if the boy was not on the ground and was put on the ground at some other at that location, somehow, some way. That's the only thing that I can figure out. And then the scent starts and stops there. The scent starts and stops there. For those that are just tuning in, we are covering the case of Sebastian Rogers right here. He's a 15-year-old boy that, he's an autistic boy that went to bed in his home around 9 p.m., according to his mother, Cathy Proudfoot. And when she woke up at 6 a.m., he mysteriously vaporized inside her home. She and the stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, has been on this campaign that this boy walked out of this home. The kicker is, he's adamant about wearing shoes, and his shoes were left behind. He's adamant about playing his game, but his game was left behind. His dad always has him charge his phone up so he never misses a call from his dad, but his cell phone was left behind. It was a cold night, and he didn't grab a jacket even though he has sensory issues. He was walking on the grass even though he has an allergy to grass. This does not make sense. And moreover, there was not one dog hit on the outside of his home, implying that he most likely did not walk out of that house. Moreover, the camera across the street didn't even have any indication that the front door was even open, let alone an image coming out, a hazy image coming out and leaving the front door. It appeared to me that all the lighting sources were on the back side of the house near the back door, which just so happens to be right next to Cathy Proudfoot's room that she would have been sleeping in. So it makes it very difficult for me to believe she heard nothing outside of her bedroom window. They did drain the pond. Yes, Jill. Yes, Jill, they did drain the pond, but it always made me wonder, did he drop something in there? Because in every pond that we know, especially retaining ponds, guys, it is disgusting. You sink into about a foot of muck. And they drain the pond. Did they search through the muck? Did they scrape the muck out and go through the muck? Because there might be some type of evidence in that muck. Because after that, Narca Diver went in there. And he walked the entire, the bottom of the floor. But what if it was something small? And he didn't feel it through his boots, because those water boots are pretty thick on the bottom because they don't want anything piercing it. So this case doesn't make any sense to me. I'm trying to make it make sense to me. I'm working through all the information we have available and trying to see where it pieces. This is a moving puzzle. We've got several working theories, and we just added 2 new theories tonight. So, it kind of sucks, because my 2 theories about Chris being the culprit have now been removed, but now we are looking at Chris being an accessory after the fact, or his mother and stepfather. So that's kind of where we are, but it's definitely developing into more people know about this. There's definitely more people know about this, and his mother would know, because she would know if he had to borrow her SUV that night. And it just so happens to coincide when a child disappeared from their home. And then to turn around and to potentially see Cathy Bowersox's car back at the scene, up at the store. Maybe she never left the area. I don't know. Is Cathy Bowersox the accessory and not Chris? Hey, she's dirty enough. We know that she was willing to kidnap Chris's daughter Faith from Nina, and Nina seems like a good mom. They dipped to Alaska. Yep. I still don't think they took them to Alaska. I really don't. But hey, we're putting that out there. Anybody that has Alaska, get the flyers out to them. We want to be sure. We want to make sure that box is checked. But I think they got out of Dodge because they didn't want to be around here when shit hit the fan. That's what I truly believe. I believe they just wanted to get out of Dodge. The heat, it was too hot in the kitchen. That's what I believe. I don't believe they took that kid there. I believe it was too hot in the kitchen and they needed to get out of Dodge, especially if Mommy Dearest was anywhere in this mess. And I think she was. I think she's got her hands all up in it, just like she did with Faith. And now that I see this right here, like, I am absolutely convinced this is an SUV. I'm not 100%, I'm not 100% for my audience. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not 100% for my audience, but for me, I believe this is an SUV. But I have a duty to you guys too, so I have to put that there is a possibility that this is not, that this is truly a truck. But for me, hey Pooh, thank you, love. So I don't know what you guys want to do with this information. This is what I've been able to compile. If anybody's a content creator and you guys want some of these images, just reach out to me. You can always reach out to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I'm happy to share with you guys whatever I have. It's about getting this message out. It's about advocating for Sebastian Rogers. It's about getting back to Sebastian Rogers, taking the focus away from all the noise that's being created, all the bunk and garbage that's being manufactured. And that's exactly what they're doing. There's a whole team manufacturing stuff to discredit Tony and Seth right now. And I hope you guys don't fall for it. But, I can't make decisions for you. Do what you guys want to. But I'd prefer just keeping it with Sebastian. Look at this. We have a lot of work ahead of us, guys. We have a lot of stuff to go over. Us being distracted on these issues that don't matter is distracting and taking us away from this case. This right here is the stuff we need to be focusing on. So I hope you guys get this stuff and get it out there. Let's find out. Maybe somebody saw something. Maybe somebody saw something that they forgot they saw. Think about it. How many times have we've gone through life and something happened? It's like, did I see that? Right? So we want to make sure that we're also doing things that might provoke memory, because people forget, they live their life, but there might be something that triggers something, like later down the road, they're like, wait a minute, you know what? As a matter of fact, I remember this. And so by doing all this stuff, hopefully people are, some things are jogging people's memory, even in their community. Their community, a lot of people just live their life, hustle and bustle, and they don't think of anything being, like creepy. But what if something was just plainly out of the ordinary? Maybe something didn't feel right. Maybe something just caught them off guard. Nothing major, nothing, Those are the things that we're looking for. So, guys, take this for what you will. Do your own research. But this is the stuff I've been able to compile. This is what I think I am seeing in these photos. But mull them over, because my eyes might be deceiving me. You might be seeing something else, and it's all about coming together and sharing our ideas to find what it truly is. This is what we got to work with. All right, guys, have fun. bullhornbetty@gmail.com. God bless.